Hi, my name is Ken, and I'm Grayscale. So, first off, I just want to say I'm not an Ableton certified trainer or anything like that, but I have been using Ableton for about 2 years and creating music electronically for about 9. Um, the point of this video is just to jump right into Ableton, kind of just getting used to the user interface. Sorry. Um, so the biggest thing with Ableton Live that hindered me when I was a beginner or just learning Ableton Live was the fact that I was switching over from FL Studio, which is a completely different design. Everything on Ableton that you need is on one screen. There's no clicking your mixer button or your step sequencer, which I'll admit I kind of miss. I kind of miss the step sequencer from FL Studio, but there's ways around that. But everything is right here. All your stuff on the top, that's just basic DAW controls. Everything's pretty universal in my opinion. But everything else, it can kind of seem daunting once you're just kind of staring at it. But once you really break it down into sections, everything makes a lot more sense. So on the left side, you have your browser where your instruments, audio effects, MIDI effects, everything that you're going to need to make your song is right here. Or VST plugins if you use them. And then down on the left corner, you have your info view, which will show important information about whatever parameter control that you're hovering over. So if you just look down here in the bottom left, and I hover over literally anything, it's going to show you information. It's going to show you hotkeys. Generally, really important information about that particular control or knob or parameter. Then down here where it says drop audio effects here, this is where you're going to place your instruments, your MIDI effects, and your audio effects, or anything else that you're going to use to make your sound, or even audio clips. Everything is down here. Same with the piano roll. Piano roll and audio clips can be found by switching between the clip view and the device view, which can be switched by Shift Tab, and that'll change your views on the bottom. And then you have your main view. Your arrangement view is right here. Depending on the template you have set up, it might load up like this, or it might load up like this. This is the session view. This is used for like playing live, launching clips, that kind of stuff. I don't do any of that, so the only reason I keep session view open up on my second monitor is to mix, because I like having the vertical faders. That's just a preference though. The last thing would be the tracks and stuff. So you have your you have the name of your track, whether it's a MIDI or an audio track. All your routing information. It's gonna have your basic mixing stuff, mute, solo, arm recording, volume, pan, and it's gonna be able to send things to your return tracks, which are down here. And then you can change this to pre or post signal fader. And then you have your track delay. Once you really break it down like that, everything is a lot easier. So now that I'm like used to the Ableton Live interface, it's really easy for me just to go over to the browser, look at an instrument, click and drag, or if I'm on that particular, I can just double click it and it'll load in. And now I have an audio, or sorry, now I have an instrument. And okay, now I want a reverb, or I want a delay, or I want a gate. Let me just put a gate down there. I double click it and it adds it. Or you can click and drag and it adds it wherever the little blue indicator is. But it's going to default to adding it at the end of the chain. Once you have these core concepts, everything is so much easier. Once you can separate the browser from the arrangement view to the clip and devices, everything is way easier. One other thing that you should probably know before you get started is just how to go about your preferences. Whether or not you want to change the theme or different options about sleep mode, multiple instances. If if you have a high DPI display, making sure that you have your audio interface set up correctly, the CPU tester, where your MIDI controller if you have them, and then like information about your folders, your VST folders, your libraries, and your recording stuff and your licenses and maintenance, which you should have already done by this point if you have Ableton Live. I know, I mean, you can't beat around the bush. Everyone pirates Ableton or FL Studio or whatever DAW. No one wants to spend the few $100 on buying their software, but it's definitely worth it. I'll admit I had some illegal copies of some software when I first started, and as soon as I had the money, my parents bought me FL Studio, and then when I was going to college, I bought Ableton Live. And so now I have a legit copy of Ableton. It doesn't crash. It's great. I would totally recommend legally purchasing your software. Also, I feel like that would open me up to lawsuits. But yeah, just get used to Ableton Live. Whether it's just playing around with, whatever, just adding an instrument and kind of figuring out how to do things. Everything is a lot easier once you kind of break it down into sections and just getting used to the interface. And there's not really anything else to say about that. Everything is pretty basic. Everything is laid out in one screen. There's really no searching for things, really, unless you're searching for samples or you're searching for different audio effects and presets and whatnot. But that's always going to be in the browser. Yeah, I mean, everything can be done by right-clicking. Pretty much everything can be done by right-clicking and having an option, even changing the color to things. Everything is laid out in the most friendly way possible to enhance your workflow. And that is one of the most important ideas or important concepts as a musician, is being able to go directly from your brain as an idea down on the DAW as a fortified thought or creative concept. There's no searching I want to make this melody, but how do I look for an instrument, or how do I do this? How do I do that? Everything is right in front of you. It's just a matter of moving your mouse towards one screen or towards up or down. I could probably go on for hours on what all these buttons do and different options, but that's really not the point of this. It's just to tell you that it looks daunting, but if you spend 10 minutes just going over this and clicking different buttons, everything is super easy. Probably in a later video, I'll go over very specific things and more advanced things later on. But yeah, if you like the video, drop me a like, subscribe, and drop me a comment or something if you think I can improve on some things, if you have any other ideas for videos. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one.